Yeet. Okay, we got well, let me give it to you like this. My AEW review. You've seen it if you watched it. The show was good. With a lot of questions going forward about Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, what's going on with MJF, what's going on with Adam Cole. A lot of stuff. Orange Cassidy, is he going to start acting like Gollum? We don't know where they're going to go with Warlow. It was a show that gave you a lot of stuff, and the best, not this, but a lot more of this. A more direction of AEW. Before, it was like this. There was no total direction. It was just going everywhere. And then we have this. More direction. It's not all over the place. It was a good show that gives you a lot of questions. What will go forward? A lot of interesting things. Now, when you look at NXT, I'm going to be honest here. And I know people are going to say, dude, you cannot say NXT wasn't good. Guys, I've always been honest. I've been doing NXT since 2.0. I gave up doing NXT before, but I thought because of what was going on, I had to review NXT, and I've been doing it since 2.0. Understand that. How can I say this? When Triple H was gone, and when it came to Vince stepping in. It's been running since then. Now we have a difference. Now we have Shawn Michaels, who mostly runs the show now. Hopefully, permanently, will run the show any way he wants. But here, let's make this clear. This was a mandate that came down from corporate. We need more. Flat out, that's what this was all about. They knew AEW was going to be on Tuesday. They knew it. This was not, and understand, see it in disrespect before I get started on talking about the show, but see in disrespect. They were not trying to put on the best possible show. They were trying to put on the most eye-catching show. There's a difference. If anybody says it's the same, no, it's not. An eye-catching show, a lot of times, is temporary. A show that is meant to make you care about things long-term, this was not it. Flat out, this was not a show to try and get you to stay. This was a show to try and get you just to come and take a look. That's what this was. So, let's make this clear. The opening, Asuka versus a Roxanne Perez. It was a good match. I'll never say that Asuka isn't still loved in NXT. And I'm never going to say Asuka isn't a great wrestler. She is. Kata is incredibly good wrestler. She's learned to take all that she learned from NXT, all that she learned from the main roster, and she's done the best she could with it within the rules they made her stay in. So here, did I believe Roxanne was going to beat her? No. But it was going to be a good showing for Roxanne, which it was. It was a very good showing for Roxanne, and Kata just did this. She showed Roxanne respect because she saw that she worked her butt off. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, next match. Gallus versus Brawling Brutes. Now, a pub rules match is basically like a street fight. But as a tornado type of style. That's what that is. Here's the problem. Seeing that Brawling Brutes were brought in because Gallus, they think Irish and British against Irish and British would be good. Here's the problem. You didn't make it feel like Irish and fucking British. Instead of saying those damn Irish, they think they're always better than us Brits. Yes, it's a stereotype. But in this case, I'm going to be honest here. They needed it. They needed it. Because this is, I don't think it's a one-off, because I don't believe Gallus and Brawling Brutes are going to be done immediately. Because they really don't have anything for Gallus. And they don't have a lot with Brawling Brutes, particularly that Sheamus is not back yet. He did leave a X-tweet saying that this is going to be a banger, which it was not a bad match. It wasn't. Seeing that acoustic broke and hit the ref in almost pretty much in the face, that wasn't good. That's one of the problems when you try to use something that isn't a regular prop. Look, using a cue stick in a real bar fight is good. But seeing that bar fight, using a cue stick, there's always a flaw with that. That's the reason why I use kendo sticks. That kind of stuff could have happened. That ref could have lost an eye. But it looks like it was fine. In the end, Brawling Brutes won, which I'm not surprised. They're from the main roster. There was no way they weren't going to win. Now, this was set up in the very beginning of the show. Cody made it clear we're going to have three things. One, the women's breakout tournament is still going on, which is good. He's very proud of it. The men are about to have a breakout match as well, breakout tournament, and they're bringing back the Dusty Classic, which I'm not surprised. But you know what, it would have been great, but unfortunately they would have had an issue with it, was when you see that and I'm saying it now, before Dragunov, before Dom, you got to be honest here. Wouldn't it have been better for the endorsement of Jade Cargill to be brought in with HBK to the ring with Cody Rhodes? He knew her. He knew she was there. He's one of the people that was responsible for her. Bringing her in, I just think it would have been better if Cody introduced Jade instead of singing in the back with HBK. But there was a possibility AEW chant might start. So I can understand why they didn't do it. But if they really wanted to make something special with Cody next to announcing the Dusty Classic and the men's breakout tournament, he's the one who introduced Jade. Even though she will not be working in NXT, because it's obvious they want to put her into the main, I don't know why they want to put her into the main roster, but that's the way it is. Now, mind you, once we saw Dragunov, it was good. Once we saw well, let me give it to you like this. Seeing Dragunov kind of put Cody over, which he didn't really need to, making it clear that Cody is NXT, that this place is special. It was alright. No problem. Seeing Dom come out and understand that Cody was the special guest GM for the day. He was able to set up a match between the two, between Dom and Dragunov, and that's what we got in the next match. Dragunov and Dom for the Heavyweight Championship of NXT. Now, Mommy was at ringside, and let's give it to you. You got Dom here, you got Dragunov here. Let's make it clear, when it comes in intensity, Dom can be sometimes somewhat intense. Dragunov is here. Even though Dom did that to his chest, everybody could see, and Dragunov took that hit and like, did you just try to really hurt me? Well, I think I'm going to hurt you. And seeing the look on Mommy's face, on Rhea Ripley's face, like, oh, my Dom whooped that ass. But then she sees him like, oh, shit, it didn't work. That was fun. That was funny. In the end, once you get a little bit of, well, seeing Finn and seeing JD just get their asses whooped by an LA Knight, who was the special guest referee, which I liked. I loved it. He didn't even change. He just came out with a referee shirt, with his vest on and his glasses. He just came out as himself, which didn't need to be anything else. There was no problem with it. I'm just saying that the match was alright. LA Knight looked great. He did blunt force trauma on McDonough. He got rid of a Finn. And he counted 1, 2, 3 for Dragunov. There you go. Now, I want to make this clear though. Actually, wait. Let me make this clear at the end of this video. I will. But it was good. Now, the match I really didn't feel much for, because this is the quarterfinal, I believe, for the women's breakout tournament, and that is Lola Vice versus Danny Palmer. I knew Danny Palmer was going to lose. Look, I've noticed what they've been doing with Lola and Elektra. They've been showing them both a lot. So they're beginning to grow some stock in Vice. Lola Vice, they're beginning to show some stock. I don't see anything with Danny. I don't. And I'm not saying I hate her. I don't. but they want to push Lola. That's just obvious. The way they made the match, the way the match went, the way the match flowed, it looked like Lola. Even though it seemed mostly even. Now, let me give it to you like this. The Valkyria and Becky vid pack. Was it good? Yes, it needed to be done. They needed to do it. They're talking about how both of them are so similar, how they both went up in the same type of style from Ireland. Becky was first, and pretty much Lila Valkyria was second. They both did exactly the same thing. It's just at two different times. One did it 15 years ago, and the other one did it, in 2018? So there's not that much of a difference. The only difference here is how are they going to book it in Halloween Havoc. Now, let me give you to like this. The Bada Bing Bada Boom Battle Royal. 10 teams. Over the top rope Battle Royal until the last two teams to the left, and then it's a standard match. And who wins goes up against the family at Halloween Havoc. Is that a good concept? Not bad. At least there's something. I do not agree that they just throw one person out and the team is gone. But since they don't want to take too long, and that's the reason why they're doing it, guys, they don't want to take too long with this type of match. Because of how they think NXT is, they think they got to make it as fast-paced as possible. You might as well let one go and get rid of the other one as quickly as possible so they can focus on other things. I don't agree with it, but I understand why they're doing it. But it's not that bad. Final. Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Breaker. Was the opening, well, not the opening, but when John Cena had his segment and Braun Breaker came out, was it good? It was okay. Hearing people sing John Cena's theme song, I haven't heard that in a while. I haven't heard that in a while with a small crowd. You can actually hear it clearly. Because when it's a large crowd, a lot of time people will not always be in sync. There's always some type of echo. Here, it was pretty clear, and John got hard on. I'm sorry. Let's be honest. Johnny got a little wedgie. There's no way he wasn't getting a wedgie that people sang his song. It's been a while since they've done that. And he did get a rise out of it. There's no way. And just in case, if anybody's seen my gut report, and for the person that you know who you are, and I'm sure you might have saw my comment that we may not agree on everything, but we are talking pro wrestling. That's the fun part. You don't always got to agree. You don't. It's just having fun talking about pro wrestling. And I want to make this clear. I still like John Cena. I still think that he is one of the GOATs. And I still think of what he's done and burying talent. But I will not take anything from him. He's still good for the company. Flat out whenever he's there and whatever he does. Does he overact? Hell yeah, he does. Does he act stupid and goofy? Hell yes, he does. Does he bury talent now? No, because he doesn't need to, because he's not there. He's just coming once in a while. He don't need to bury anybody because he's already considered one of the best of all time through controversy. But it doesn't mean he didn't earn it. That's why I want to make clear to anyone who's either seen the comments on my gut report or the gut report itself that John is one of the GOATs. He has buried people. He has done some good things as well. But you can't take away from any of it because that would be a lie. He's done bad. He's done good. He's an icon. And he's controversial. And that's the way it goes. And here, he's done well. Particularly being in the corner of Carmelo Hayes. Seeing Carmelo in the back with him was good. Two guys from Massachusetts, remember. Carmelo is from Boston, I believe. And John's from Newbury. They're both Massachusetts guys, including a Trick Williams. I believe he is from there as well, I think. I don't remember where he's from. But Carmelo is. And seeing two Massachusetts guys, I'm saying it wrong, Massachusetts. There you go. It's good to see. I kind of wish they had gone there with it, saying, we're both We're both Massachusetts guys. You're from Boston. I'm from Newbury, Massachusetts. We are the boys that will show you that we like to fight. I kind of wish they'd done that. They didn't. The match between him and Braun Breaker, and I have to say this, seeing Braun talk to a Paul Heyman, I gotta say this now. Look, I know I'm younger than Paulie. I know. Here, look. I know I'm losing hair. I'm grayed most of it. But what the blue fuck happened to Paul? What happened to him? He's gotten so gray. Either he stopped dyeing his hair, or, Paul has just gotten really stressed out. Really, really badly. And I'm going like, what the hell? He's not that much older than me. Maybe a couple of years. He can't be graying out that fast. Damn! But seeing what he did, getting over Braun Breaker's pretty much saying, you know what? I'm going to make this clear. No one's going to stop me. I will destroy. I don't care if it's Carmelo Hayes. I don't care if it's anyone. I'm going to blow through them to get to WrestleMania. And then you hear a little bit of Paulie saying, call Roman Reigns, saying, okay, we got a problem because you may have your next opponent in about a year or two. That's where it looks. Match was fine. Carmelo won. And here's what I said about John Cena. What did John Cena do at the end of that match? When Braun Breaker was ready to break him, when he was ready to use those steel steps on Carmelo, I'm not telling you that it was right for him to do that. But what did Johnny do? Johnny kicks him in the legs and takes away the steel steps and then starts fighting with Solo Sikoa. What did I say about Johnny sometimes being a heel? He should have never done that, even though the ref didn't see it. And as you know from Eddie Guerrero, lie, cheat, and steal, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying to win nothing. If the ref doesn't see it, well, guess what? It ain't illegal. But John doing that, who's supposed to be a good guy, he didn't need to kick him in the gut. He could have just tried to grab the thing from him. Tell me I'm wrong. My friend who I commented with, the guy who I spoke to, the guy that I had a really nice conversation with, even if we didn't agree. Tell me I'm wrong. That's not what a face is supposed to do. You don't kick someone in the gut and then takes away the dangerous item. He just grabs it away. Tell me I'm wrong. He just proved my point, what I was saying in my gut report. Johnny doesn't always follow the rules. Johnny will go and circumvent the rules when he's in the mood. And once he started fighting with Solo, and then they move away, we clearly get a Carmelo Hayes shooting and scoring. He ain't missing. He won. But here's where it gets interesting. And my final comment for this video is about to be. Once you see that Carmelo gets nailed again by Braun, and he makes it very clear there's only one badass in WWE, we get Undertaker coming out on one of his Harleys, because he's got more than one, guys. He turns that sucker off, walks into the ring, looking a little bit like this. I'm not saying I'm straight. I can't. When I walk, I'm always going to go like this because I have a fused leg, unfortunately. But he gets into that ring, and he makes it very clear. He's going to be the future. He's going to be a main eventer. He will go to WrestleMania. He will be a badass. But it ain't today. To the face. He's down on the floor. Then he grabs him and choke slams him to freaking oblivion. And after that, he makes it very clear. Young man, there's always going to be someone older, smarter, bigger, and more of everything. And you just met the baddest of them all. And once Carmelo gets pulled up, we get the ending of the show. Now, I'm not going to tell you this was bad. It wasn't. It was a good show. It was. It wasn't bad. But let's make this clear. This was not about the prolonged viewing of NXT. This was shock value. That's what this was. That's what they did it for. This was shock value, guys. Now, maybe we'll have Braun Breaker and a possibly returning Taker at Crown Jewel. I don't know if it's going to be a Halloween Havoc. It might be. Maybe the Taker may go to Halloween Havoc instead of Crown Jewel. But then that's going to be an issue because, let's make it clear, the Saudi Prince would rather see him at Crown Jewel than Halloween Havoc. He will pay him this like he did the last couple of times, even though he looked like shit. Now, we know that Taker now has double hip surgery, I believe. I think he had double hip surgery. Not one, but 2 hip surgeries. So he's moving around a lot better. But let's make this clear. Do I want to see Taker in the ring again? No. Now, it's not because I don't think he'd probably go again. Now that his hips have been fixed and he's gotten in good shape, he'll probably be fine. But honestly, no. I don't want to see Taker in the ring again. Not because I'm worried that he's not going to be able to handle it, but because he made it very clear, I'm done. I'm not coming back. But guess what? He did come back. Why? Is it going to be for Halloween Havoc? I doubt it. It'll probably be for Crown Jewel. And do I want to see him at Crown Jewel? No. But the Saudi Prince does. And that's about this. I'm sorry. I'm not going to tell you that every wrestler doesn't try to get this. They do. They're not doing this because they just love it. They're doing it also to make sure they can take care of their families and themselves. They need this. But we know 100% that Taker is fine. He's got this. So, do I want to see him? No. After the last couple of times? No. I'm just being honest here. That's just me. But will it help Braun Breaker? To a certain extent, yes. It's not a main roster Braun Breaker. It's an NXT Braun Breaker. And if it's done at Crown Jewel, it will give him more credibility on NXT, which eventually will lead him to the main roster, which might be SmackDown, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. He may go to Raw, but that's just me. But I'll say this, if you haven't seen it, you can watch it. It's not 100% trash, it's good. But it was pretty much shock value. It was desperation. That's just me. Peace.